Welcome to the Audit and Standards Committee meeting for Burnley Borough Council. Members present, Councillor Paul Campbell, Chair, Sue Graham, Vice Chair, Bill Brindle, Margaret Lishman, Lorraine Mahana and Andy Tatchell. Officers of the Council, Howard Hamilton-Smith, Ian Evenett, Salma Hussain, Christine Wood, Alison McEwen and Mark Hindman, and external auditors, Helen Stevenson and Barry Morris. Chair, it's over to you.
Thank you, Helen. Okay, welcome everyone. If you can draw your attention to the agenda, we'll start with apologies. Do we have any?
Yes, Chair, we have apologies from Councillor Catherine Howard, Councillor Jill Smith, Stuart Arnfield and Louise Gaskell.
Okay, thank you. Minutes of the last meeting. Is everyone happy with those? Any questions? No, all good. The only thing I wanted to raise is a bit of a minor point, but the third paragraph down, it does say that the committee expressed its disappointment at the recommendation for members to take up the opportunity offered by the LGA. I'm not sure if that's the best wording, that we were disappointed for the opportunity to feedback. I think it was more of we were happy for the opportunity, but we felt that it might fall on deaf ears. But minor point there. I know some of us were at the webinar. For those that didn't attend, it was very straightforward. They basically talked through what we've already seen, and it would appear that many other councils have the very same issues that we do. There was many questions about what do we do in this circumstance and this circumstance, and it did turn into a bit of a detail picking session. Some concerns that not enough weight's given to parish with regards to the code, and that was more aimed at borough and etc. But it was interesting to hear. But if you didn't go, you didn't miss that much in that respect. With all respect to the offering. Okay, so if we move on to additional items.
Chair,
none? Yep.
Sorry, can I just Councillor Shah Hussain is just joined the meeting, so if we can record that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
Declarations. Oh, sorry. Additional items of business. None.
No, Chair, there are no additional items.
Any declarations of interest?
I have not received any declarations, Chair.
No. Exclusion of the public and public questions.
I have not received any public questions.
That's fine.
Per agenda. Yeah.
So that brings us on to verbal update, item 7. If you want to take that, Christine.
Yeah, just to report that there are currently 2 standard cases ongoing, and there will be a report to the next committee, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's noted. So we move on to point 8. Is Ilias with us? No. Does Ian want to take this point?
Yes, Chair.
Thank you.
We will find out what happened to Ilias later in the evening. So, yes. So this is the internal audit plan for 2020-21. We've agreed this with management team, and it's important that as the audit committee is part of the sort of management structure, if you like, within the code of practice that we operate to, the standards we operate to, that also you sort of have a look through the plan and approve this particular plan. So we've gone to management team, and this is a very disrupted year. The internal audit is not an essential service as far as business continuity concerned. So that means that we've been redeployed really to assist essential services in their delivery during the sort of pandemic, as we've sort of explained later in the progress report. In addition, we now have a auditor post which is currently vacant. But we will be looking to fill that post as soon as practical. So those 2 factors have combined to sort of reduce the ideal sort of internal audit resources that we would have, and that's sort of noted within the plan structure there. You can see that we've estimated a severe reduction in the sort of plan. So we've tried to prioritise the audits we think we can feasibly deliver this year in that sort of final column in the audit plan in Appendix 1. We will continue to deliver audits as best we can in this environment. So, you know, it is a changing environment, it is a flexible environment, and we will have to adjust the plan as necessary. But it's important that we agree the audits that we need to be delivered and sort of have that sort of basis on which we can sort of run the plan going forward. And the strategy is sort of brought to the committee. We've not made any changes for the internal audit strategy and charter. Just lays out exactly how we will operate, how we expect the council to respond to us and maintain our independence if possible, which is difficult when when you're redeployed into certain areas. It makes it very complicated if we subsequently have to audit that particular area. So we have tried to maintain an effective independence in those particular functions to sort of maintain that objective evidence and objective review. However, it is important that we're in that particular function. We are supporting those particular things, and we bring a skill set to some of the functions. I know Salma has been heavily involved in the business grants thing, which was a major fraud exposure. So her skills in that particular area has been particularly useful. And again, sort of Ilias working in that particular area, sort of liaising and checking with the company house data and things like that was an important deterrent or important control associated with the fraud functions. But happy to take any questions, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Ian. Any member? No, everyone good?
No requests.
I think every time we have this report or a similar, it does always seem as if the world is working against you, Ian, and your audit days are being taken from beneath you. But well done keeping on top of that. Okay, so if we move on to item 9, the internal audit plan. This is for Salma to take.
Excuse me, Chair, can I just check, are we approving this report?
Yes, sorry.
We are, and do we have a proposer?
I'll propose it.
Okay, and a seconder. Yeah, and are we all in favour? Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, sorry, back on to point 9. Salma, if you want to take that.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. This is the quarterly report for the period of April this year to June. 4 reports have been issued. As you can see from Appendix 1, this details the list of audits that have been completed. Recommendations are scored as high, medium and low, and we've had 3 high recommendations issued for this period, and this is for the personnel performance indicators audit. As per the performance statistics, we do have a performance indicator of producing 22 reports this year, but as Ian's mentioned, due to us supporting business continuity response, this indicator may now be affected. And if you have a look through the report as well, it covers the different areas that we've been supporting due to the pandemic. We also have a performance indicator for high priority actions from audit action plans being implemented, and we are currently standing on 100% for this. Thank you.
Thanks, Salma. A member? No? Okay. Move on to the risk register, and this is for Ian.
Sorry, Chair, can we just agree again that report, to note the report?
Yes, we're noting the
Agenda
report.
item 9, yeah. So do we have the proposer and a seconder? Yes. Yeah, thank you. And we're all agreeing to note? Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think we need to. Yeah, we note the report. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So point 10. Back to you, Ian.
Yeah. Strategic risk register. This is the same risk register that we brought to the June audit committee, and it was approved by the executive, I think, in August. Obviously, the pandemic and its impact continues to dominate the register, and the subsequent increases in infections really just supported these sort of red risks that were impacting on finance, economy, and the community. So happy to take any questions, Chair.
Any member? I think from looking over the, I can actually find it in the report, it looks identical to where we were at the last meeting. I don't think there's been any movement in the report. So, but has anyone any questions? No. Everyone's very quiet this evening. Okay. So, is everyone happy? We want to approve the risk register?
All.
I think
Yeah.
Councillor
Sorry.
Graham wishes to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to. The one on the one that relates to leadership. Sorry, you'll have to excuse me. I've lost it now. I had it earlier. Change of political control. Number 8. Inability to influence key decision makers.
Yeah.
I was quite surprised that was only a 6. I mean, I don't know when the risk register was completed, but with all the turmoil that we've had over the last month, I would have thought it might be higher than that.
Yes, I thought the same. However, I can tell you that the risk register is as of the 10th, so it's a couple of weeks old. So I think this is probably, and by the time it was written, it was probably just pre-problem era, shall we say? Right.
I thought it had been going on longer than that, but it just seems like a long time.
There's the risk that you're referring to in terms of us inability to sort of influence key decision makers relates to our influence in terms of both our partners and also sort of at national level, etc. So there is a factor there. In terms of political sort of changes just recently of the council, that would be more likely to be reflected in risk 4, changes in the political landscape, which, okay, yeah, I accept that really does need looking through, but it is, is a quite moving platform, and we may well achieve a resolution quite quickly, effectively, and hopefully. But that does not, as far as I'm aware, stop the sort of council effectively going forward. The chief executive has his powers to sort of take decisions, but we will come through this particular thing. I mean, I'm quite happy to sort of recommend that management team have a look at this particular risk again and consider whether it needs increasing or reflecting the current environment.
I think management team have got enough on their plate at the moment, but it just surprises me that it isn't having, what's going on isn't having more of an impact on the risk register. But I can appreciate the lead-in time for the report is longer than perhaps the current
events
situation.
I think on top of that, it must be hard to factor this because, I mean, even with the county angle and will stuff move, will we combine? It's like, well, it's on and then it's off and then it's back on again. So it's how do you put that as a risk? Because it's a risk and then it's not a risk and it might be a risk. So, yeah.
Well, you put it that we live in uncertain times and
we do.
We have a residual risk assessment that should be in the amber to red zone.
Yep, I'll certainly put that forward.
Okay, thank you, Ian. Any other member just after that update? No. Okay, so if we move on to item 11, this is the external auditors report that you've got. Is it Helen or Barry that's taking this?
Hi, Chair. Through you, if I may, first of all.
Barry. Thanks, Barry.
Thank you, Chair. So just thought it'd be helpful to quickly introduce myself. So I'm Barry Morris. I'm an engagement lead in Grant Thornton. I'm based down in the southwest area. I've been asked to support the audit team up in Burnley to cover off Mark Heap's absence. Unfortunately, Mark's away on illness, which is likely to continue until the end of the year. So we've put in place arrangements so that I can make sure that we deliver the audit in as timely fashion as possible. And again, just to continue the changes, Helen Stevenson is being introduced as your audit manager to cover off the change of audit manager that we've had there as well. So what I'd like to do, Chair, is ask Helen to take you through the progress report. You'll also notice that we've got a paper on there around COVID-19 and the impact as well. And inevitably, it looks like option 2 is the one that we might now be considering as we move into further lockdown measures. But if you've got any questions on any of that after Helen has spoken, then please don't hesitate to raise them. Over to you, Helen.
Thanks very much, Barry. Yes, well, this is my first meeting that I've been able to attend, so it's good to meet you all finally. I've taken over from Chloe just because she's left now the firm, so I'm the incoming audit manager for this current year. So this progress report really is just to brief you on any issues that have arisen since we brought the audit plan and just any changes to that plan as well. So hopefully you've had a chance just to scan through the report, but the main changes really are on pages 52 onwards. So in terms of the timing then of the financial statements audit, previously we issued the audit plan and it had a certain time frame set out in that. Well, obviously because of the COVID and the pandemic, the timetable now has changed. So we're working towards signing off the accounts by the 30th of November. In the previous plan, I think we said that we would be starting earlier than this. Well, now we're waiting actually for your financial statements, and we do recognise it's been a challenge this year for lots of authorities in terms of getting their financial statements to us. So I believe we will be receiving them soon, and we're due to start our work pretty soon. In terms of value for money, I think that's previously been communicated to you in the plan. And obviously there's been a consultation running for the work next year, but I think for the time being, we'll come on to that in a further meeting. So moving through the report then, yeah, we've discussed previously audit fees with you and we agreed those last time in the plan. So the main issue really in terms of this report is just to go through the COVID-19 sort of impact, if you like, and that's set out on page 54. So we've been remote working, but we have been having Teams catch-up calls with your finance staff, discussing all the current issues. We have discussed the impact on the accounts as set out here in terms of the focus on our audit work. There will be more focus around some of these areas in terms of including valuation on PPE might be a little bit more difficult because of the access, etc., to be able to carry out thorough evaluations, but we will consider those as part of the audit in the next couple of months. And then this slide as well, it sets out the changes to the reporting requirements we're aiming towards, as I say, the 30th of November deadline. So there we have the revised timetable, and the rest of the report is really, as usual, sort of a brief sector updates. Many of these actually are COVID, very much COVID focused, giving you some more detailed, really, information for you to sort of inform you and have a look at. So happy really to take any questions on the back of that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Helen, and welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Any member?
I'm not seeing anything, Chair.
No. No. Okay. Got off lightly on your first visit.
I did, yeah.
Okay, so if we move on to point 12, this is yourself, Helen, that's taking this again.
Yes, and really there isn't much additional to say to this. The impact of COVID, which I've just briefly touched on, is obviously something now that when we set our audit plan out, we show the detail around the significant risks that we identify. Now, because this obviously is a risk area, the impact on your financial statements, etc., we have included now this as a significant additional risk in the plan. And all that means is we will just focus on your arrangements and work with management just to actually understand the impact on the accounts. So really, that was all we really wanted to say on this. But we issued this back in May, as I understand it, but I don't think it's come to this committee. So that's why it's on this one now. So thanks, and happy to take questions.
Thank you. Any member? No. Okay. Okay, thank you, Helen and Barry. If we move on to the final work programme, it is as listed. Obviously, this might have slipped slightly since previous, but everyone okay with it? No comments? No? Okay. At that point, I'll close the meeting. Thank you all for attending, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank